Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order and thank everybody for coming tonight. Could you please stand and we'll salute the flag? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Not that I have. You have one.
Okay, yes. The cheerleaders came tonight, so we're going to introduce them tonight. We don't have their certificates with us, but we gave them out last meeting, and they'll get to you, though. We'll make sure they get to you. So we're going to have the coach introduce each one of you. And we're going to add, what's it called?
It's going to be the second award and presentation, so it'll be 2.2 will be city council announcements and mayor's announcements. And then I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that we have two meetings running concurrently. So there's the regular city council agenda, and then there's the special city council agenda, which just has one closed session item.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, council, is there anybody who would like to accept the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded to accept the agenda as stated. Roll call, please.
Councilman Ramirez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton?
Aye.
Councilman Horn?
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson?
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey?
I also vote aye. Just for everybody's notice that Councilman Atkinson is on the iPhone, or is on the phone, so he's at the meeting.
Yes. I'm at work in Gulfport, Alabama.
You're in Alabama? Okay.
Alabama.
Looks like nice weather behind you.
It is. Very nice. I'm at the beach over here, too.
Alabama has palm trees, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to awards, presentations, and appointments and proclamations. Number 1, presentation of the fiscal year 2021 audited financial statements by the city auditor.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to introduce Ryan Jolly from Bryant Jolly CPA to present the fiscal year 2020-2021 audit. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me here this evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I just have a few brief comments, and then I'm here to answer any questions you may have. We've completed the audit for the City of Coalinga for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2021. Just beyond the table of contents is the auditor's opinion letter. This is where we've stated that we issued an unqualified opinion, meaning that we found the city's books and records to be in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So no exceptions to that audit report. Just getting into the financial statements, I just want to get to page 5. This is where these are your major funds based on revenues and assets in the funds. The general fund, as you know, is the main operating fund of the city, and on page 7 you'll see that there was an overall increase of approximately $2.6 million in the fund balance for the general fund. So the city continues to do well with the general fund and improve its reserves there within the general fund. The other funds are operating as intended, so nothing out of the ordinary there. On page 9 is the start of the enterprise funds. These are the funds of the city that are intended to operate off the user charges that are charged. On page 10, you'll see overall what the net increase or decrease in net position was on each of those funds. Down towards the bottom of page 10, all of them had a loss. The water and sewer, that's primarily due to depreciation, which is a non-cash item, but nonetheless something to pay attention to as you evaluate future rates and any increases that may be necessary to continue to support the operations of those funds. And then beyond that is the notes to the financial statements. This gives you more of a detailed explanation of a lot of the asset and liability accounts that you find within the financial statements. This year, there's been no new disclosures and no new GASB pronouncements, so shouldn't see anything new or that you haven't seen in previous years. Overall, yeah, nothing of any significant importance or any significant changes. The city did, on page 35, the city did issue a new bond in 2021 for a total of just under 19 million, and so that's been reflected as a current year addition in the debt of the city. Also, as mentioned in previous years, we're now accounting for as a liability for the overall pension liability of the city. These figures are derived from actuarial studies done by CalPERS, so it's their best estimate using a discount rate and also life expectancy to come up with what their best estimate of what the city's liability is. On page 44, you can kind of see what the current discount rate is 7.15%, and you can see what a 1% increase or 1% decrease does to that liability depending on the rate that would be used for any given year. So that's now being accounted for in the city's financial statements. Outside of that, we also did we issued, or I guess I'll jump back to the non-major funds. Those are starting on page 51. Those are all the other funds of the city, like the gas tax, some of the grant funds, LTF, COPS, just different funds. Those are all operating as intended, so nothing out of the ordinary with any of those funds as well this year. Starting on page 55 is another opinion letter we offer. This is on the internal controls of the city. This is where we look for proper segregation of duties, making sure no one person controls any of the significant transaction classes such as payroll, cash disbursements, or cash receipts. And once again, there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified. This year also, just beyond that letter, there's one more additional letter. This year, the city had a single audit. That's when the city receives federal grant funds and expends more than $750,000 of those funds. And we do a special audit of the program related to those funds, and we didn't find any exceptions to the way those expenditures were incurred by the city, and so no exceptions to that opinion either. That's pretty much all I have for the financial statements. We then issue another report called the management report. This is a letter we issued to the city council, letting you know that we didn't have any difficulties in completing the audit, that we didn't have any disagreements with management, that we didn't have to consult with any outside consultants. Basically, this is our opportunity to disclose to you whether we had any, issues during the audit. And once again, there are no issues to disclose in this letter either. So once again, a clean audit for the city, and appreciate your staff and the great job they do to get this done each year. I know it's a little late. We use another outside consultant, so we're kind of balancing their schedule sometimes with ours to get the audit done. But I think in the future we should be able to get this done a little bit earlier now that we're current again on the audits. So thank you, and if you have any specific questions, I can take those now.
Any questions from the council? Well, thank you. I know you've done this really well, and I'll go ahead and let Marissa talk.
No, I was just going to say, do you want to ask Adam if he has?
Oh, Adam, do you have anything?
I have no questions at all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any questions from the audience? Anybody like to ask? Nathan?
Just what is the pension liability, since I don't have this?
I can tell you. It's $1,182,000. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you,
All
Mr.
right,
Jolly.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, we go to item number 2, which is showing recognition to our high school cheerleaders. And I would like to invite Yvonne to come up, and she's going to introduce all the girls. We've been trying to give out the certificates to them, and they had a prom, and they couldn't come because they had the prom, and then the last meeting, they had a game, and these are all sports, and they all support their school activities too, so we're glad they're here today. So, but we don't have the certificates. We've already sent them to the school to give to you guys. So, Yvonne, if you could introduce all the girls, and we'll go from there.
Yes, I can. Hello. Okay, so we have Aaliyah Osuna, we have Nevaeh Reed,
Could you come up, please? We're going to take some pictures too.
Jasmine Campos, Monique Amador, Chloe Davis, and Abigail Perez.
Now, can you tell us what their accomplishments were?
Oh, okay. So their accomplishments were that this was the competition team for 2021-2022. We won first place in Division III dance in CIF, so that is essentially our valley for competition dance. So out of how many teams? 7. Out of 7 teams, we placed first, and we were probably, I would consider us the underdog because we were against teams that were definitely in higher division schools than us. We had multiple practices, multiple times a day, and we also had several athletes that were doing other sports. We had 2 soccer players, 1 wrestler, and then we also had some that were doing preseason sports like softball and swim, but they all put in a lot of work to make sure that they were ready for their competition, and we were able to place first, and I'm very proud of them. And I'm very sad that most of them are leaving me because they are all seniors,
Oh, they're all seniors.
except for one.
Okay, would you mind getting a picture
yeah,
with us? Girls, could you come up here and stand behind the council or stand in front of the council right here? That'd be fine. Yeah, in front of the council would be fine.
Take charge, Nevaeh.
And you got it? You guys got it?
Yeah, you got some. Yeah, you guys are
Shannon?
good. Have you doing wall sits right here and out there?
Hold on. I got a primp too.
Close that job.
Oh, yeah. Gotta be in there.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Geez, so we have multiple options. Okay, thank you.
Okay, girls, congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. 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 Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, 2 meetings ago, you had some girls behind you guys in the lower divisions and stuff, and they were national champions too. So the coaches have got something to look forward to too. So that's great. Okay.
Oh, you know what? In addition to that, Mayor, we also have these young ladies doing a great job at softball. They took care of business Wednesday, and we're not done yet. We'll be in Fowler taking care of more business until we get to that elusive ring that we're chasing. And if you see these girls play, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like, it's amazing. Home runs after home runs. I mean, they are dialed in definitely. I love it. I love it. Yes. So good luck, ladies. And we will be there Friday to enjoy another victory. Yes.
Is the game in Fowler?
It's in Fowler. So if you need gas cards, the city's paying for gas. Just come on out.
Take it out of his account. Okay, thank you. Okay, next we'll go to citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the council tonight, and all items will be referred to staff for a follow-up and a report. Is there anybody who'd like to present anything to the council? Sir, or Nate, or come on back. Scott. I got so many names for you guys.
Good evening, Council. Mayor, thank you for letting me speak. This is our last meeting before we head into our Derby weekend next weekend, so I just want to give you a little update. I did give you all a flyer of our schedule, what we have coming. We're currently sitting for our parade right around 70 entries. We have a full lineup starting. We are kicking it off this year Friday at 12 noon instead of 3 p.m. The schools are out early, so they requested that we try and open it up a bit early for the kids. So I also attached the toad race application and parade application. We still have room for a couple of you if you want to squeeze in. We would love to have you. We have a lot of live entertainment, free concerts in the park going on. A lot of local talent coming in to show off what they can do, including we have our own cheerleaders on the stage as well. So we're really looking forward to it, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. And if you have any questions about it, I'd love to answer anything you have.
Anything, council? I had one question. I saw some stuff on Facebook where the water fights were canceled,
They are back on.
but they are back on,
Yeah,
right?
I've been fighting
I got
with-
another email about that too, so.
Yeah, I've been in contact with Tyrell the last couple of days out at Granite, and he's really come through this morning. He finally said that he was
Yeah,
able
I got
to.
an email to, this works
Yeah.
in perfect for that, so.
Yeah, so water fights are back on. Pancake breakfast Saturday. We got a lot going on in the parade that we haven't had in a while. Don't want to give it all out yet, but if you're around, come down. You're in for a surprise, I think. So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Okay, seeing none. One thing I forgot to say is citizens' comments submitted in writing to the clerk after 5 o'clock on the day of the city council meeting shall be distributed to the council and included in the record. However, they will not be read. So, okay, next we'll go to a public hearing. Proposed adoption and resolution of number 4094 of necessity findings, determining and declaring that the public interest and necessity require the acquisition of street lighting facilities by eminent domain. Sean?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Staff has been working through a process with Tenco Lighting, as Council recalls, to acquire all of the streetlights within the city. This is just kind of the next step in proceeding forward with that acquisition process. And so there's two actions tonight. Is one, adopting resolution 4094, basically following a hearing, providing the owner of the property an opportunity to speak, finding that the public necessity requires the acquisition by eminent domain of the street lighting facilities owned by PG&E. And also confirm by vote on the resolution of necessity that the city of Coalinga, to the best of its knowledge, has found and determined to have satisfied the three elements required for a claim in eminent domain as outlined in the California Code of Civil Procedure. Staff and working with Tenco Lighting and the city attorney have created the appraisal, which the council has seen. We've gone through the appropriate negotiation efforts. We're at the point of conducting the hearings, and we do provide some of the authorities that the city has under this process and some additional conclusions in terms of what we have done moving forward. And so at this next point, we would be moving forward with basically placing a deposit with the Superior Court based on the appraised value of those streetlights in the amount of $93,850. So if there's any questions, this is a public hearing, Mayor. I'll answer any other questions. Mario may be able to answer it, and I think we have Jason from Tenco Lighting on the line as well if there's any technical questions.
I got a question.
Okay,
How much is this going to save us?
Let me go ahead and open the public hearing, and then all this will get put in the public hearing too. Okay, we're gonna open up the public hearing for the lighting, street lighting facilities. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're looking at potential savings of, and Jason, I think as they've kind of looked at the cost on the streetlights themselves, there's not much of a savings on that portion, but it's really in the change in the actual program and the billing that we receive from PG&E. But it can range between 40 to 60% in savings on streetlights. Yeah.
And was this money budgeted already?
Yeah, we're paying, most of this is all being paid through street funds.
Right.
Yeah, to acquire, because it is street related for the street lights, that we're utilizing street funds for the acquisition. And then at that point, with the, well, actually, we did move the street lights into the gas tax budget, so it would be a savings to the gas tax.
Okay, is there any other questions from the audience? Or Nathan?
Okay, so I guess my question is that it's also a comment that I think streetlights are imperative to public safety, and I've been going around and going from street to street looking, and it seems like we have a lot of dark areas, tons of dark areas, and I've read differing opinions online. Of course, if you listen to Berkeley and them, hey, no big deal, you don't need streetlights. If you listen to the police, they say, yeah, streetlights are a thing. So I'm hoping that we can get more streetlights out of this deal and not less. And I'm hoping that since hopefully there's going to be a savings, and hopefully since the city will be, this is my question. Is this going to be easier or harder for us to be able to put up streetlights? Because I want to put up a bunch of streetlights.
The goal will be easier.
Okay, thank you.
The goal would make it easier on multiple fronts with the streetlights, as well and maybe areas that Nathan's alluding to on Houston, Pleasant, Valley Street. There's a huge lighting project that's incorporated as part of the Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities grant we received. That's a part of that Pacific Apartments project. The city will be spending we received about $3 million in grant funds for sidewalks, bike lanes, and lighting. So there'll be a big lighting project in that particular stretch of neighborhood from Louisiana almost all the way to Worthen, if not a little bit further to Hackman. So there's a lot of improvements in lighting there, but it will make it easier to actually add lighting. It also includes these costs include retrofitting all of the existing lights that have not been converted to LEDs. That will be part of this, is to convert all of the existing high pressure sodium lights to LED as well, which actually provides a lot more illumination as well, at least clarity.
Yeah, I grew up on Pleasant Street over there where this new project's going to go. And in the old days, we used to play out underneath the lights, and you could see all over the place. But it's a different type of light now. Those were expensive in those days too. So we're going to be cost efficient too. That's what we're going to look at a lot more too. So I just wanted to say that too.
Mayor and Council, I did want to add to Nathan's comment. It will also make it easier to maintain. So there's a few examples that we had that for many months, some of the lights have been unmaintained. And in some cases, they've said, hey, this is not even our street light, which we know it is. And so it'll allow us to maintain those and get those back up and running when something does happen.
Yeah, and we'll probably have a number like PG&E does. When a street light goes out, you can call and probably just call the city and tell them. But when do you predict the takeover to be?
Takeover. I'm not quite sure timing-wise. Mario, do you have an idea on timing?
It'll be a few months.
This will be eminent domain, so
Yeah,
it's actually a takeover.
It won't be immediate. There is a court procedure that we have to go through unless they
Right.
decide that they're going to take our offer. But in the event that they don't take our offer and we have to go through court, it'll be a few months.
Okay. Is there any other questions for the public
I
hearing?
got a question
Okay.
again. Are we going to make sure that it's covered that they can't just come in and, once they agree, come and take everything back? Where we're stuck having to put everything in? Or is it going to stay
No, we'll have an
and they
inventory.
can't touch?
No, they won't. So there's a process of, I think, acquisition and then ownership on the lights. So once there's actually something from the court, and Mario may be able to do more, explain more, but.
Are we still going to have to go through PG&E to get supplies for new and existing lights?
No, because I mean, when we do new street projects and we put up new street lights, even though it may end up being, it may be under ownership of PG&E after the project's been accepted. It's standard streetlights that are usually installed. PG&E uses the same standard lights. Most of these lights will be retrofitted with new heads for LED, the ones that haven't been, but no, this is all stuff that you're able to get, the city would be able to get.
And so our goal for this is to own it, maintain it, and at the end of the day, it's to light it up. We want every to be well-lit areas, though. You know, you don't want any dark areas out there. That's where things go bump in the night, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Well, it allows us more flexibility. We can repair out when streetlights are out. We're able to add banners to the poles that we can't do with PG&E now. That's why you only see the veterans banners on city-owned light poles, because PG&E won't let us put them on their poles. Right. There's this, the civic pride side. There's, I'm saying today that we're going to be quick on fixing these lights. That's why we were really urgent about trying to get the bucket truck purchased and available. So when this happens, we'll be able to start responding and repairing these street lights. So,
Sean can probably give you the technical terms, but I want to make it clear that PG&E will still own the underground facilities, right? We're just talking about the actual pole. And I don't know if there's a technical term from like what we're taking, but
like the underground infrastructure.
The light standard, it will be ours, but all the infrastructure to get the electricity to the light is still theirs.
And typically, that's not where we have the problems. Is the underground stuff we don't necessarily have problems. It's more else the fixtures themselves, or if they get knocked over. If they get knocked over, we can replace them.
But they still have to turn our power on for certain areas.
Yeah, we're still going to have to work with them in terms of putting new lights in, but that process is a lot faster than trying to do the entire process with ownership and everything.
Okay, Jason, is there anything you'd like to add?
No. It seems like you guys are pretty good. Yeah, I'm here if there's any questions for me, but no, I think we're good.
Okay, well, thank you.
Hilda has a question.
I'm sorry, Hilda?
Hi, I'm Hilda Crawford. I just have a question. Where are you starting first? Is it going to be the whole entire city, or is this a city?
Yeah, so we're right now we'll be looking to acquire every non-city light, so every PG&E light is what we'll end up owning all the lights.
But it sounds like Valley Street is more.
Well, that's a different project. We're
Okay.
adding lighting as part of a separate project, but this process here is just the acquisition of the existing lights that we have, basically taking ownership of the lights that PG&E currently owns.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, I want to go ahead and close the public hearing. And do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 4094 for the necessity of finding and determining and declaring the public interest?
I would make a motion for all that you said.
Okay,
I'll second that.
it's been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton,
Aye.
Councilman Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. And we have a second necessary required, the acquisition of street lighting facilities by eminent domain. That has to be a separate one, right? Because I thought you said two.
It covers everything.
Oh, it said you had to,
Yeah, so
I thought you said two.
We interpreted,
Right.
essentially Ray's motion to cover
Both.
everything.
Both.
To
Okay.
make the finding and adopt the resolution.
Okay,
Correct.
okay. I just want to make sure. Okay, next we go to the consent calendar. We have 16 items. Is there anything you'd like to pull? Adam, is there anything you'd like to pull?
No, there's not.
Okay. Anybody here? Okay. I'd like to pull just number 16 just for a second. I'm going to put our fire chief on this spot. Could you give us a quick overview of, because I know you guys have been busy.
I certainly can.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, no, it's fine. So this quarterly report covers the months of January, February, and March of 2022. In January, there were 208 calls for service. February, there was 230 calls for service. In March, there was 223 calls for service. What I do is I add up all the calls for service and compare it to last 3 years. And so the EMS call volume is a 17% increase from the same time frame in 2021 and a 29% increase in 2020. So, and that has to do a lot with the fact of the staffing levels. Back then, there was only 1 ambulance, and now we're running 3. So with 3 ambulances plus Huron, obviously the call volume is going to increase. So there's that. And then as you can see, each month is broken down into the types of calls. The majority of our calls are EMS. We have had 5 structure fires in the last 7 months, which is a increase over the last few years. And then we listed the public events that we do, things that members of the department are doing. The new division chief has attended his chief officer classes and has been out doing inspections of businesses and fire prevention related activities. And currently we are at 18 of 18 suppression personnel, and we have 4 out of 6 non-safety personnel. We are hoping to fill those 2 non-safety personnels after the start of the next budget. So, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, everybody saw on TV about Madera where the fire's coming out of the creek bed.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any possibility of that
We
happening here?
We do, and that was a topic of discussion the last 2 days at the department in the training room with the crews that have been on. We actually brought a video of that call and specifically asked them, is there any places in Coalinga that this can happen? And yes, there is. And so there's been site visits by the crews. They've been driving around and doing their first in drills and looking at areas of town where that could be a possibility and what we can do to mitigate that, along with Chief Beasley working with property owners to try and reduce the hazards with the overgrown grass and stuff like that.
Okay, how about homeless? Was any of those fires caused by homeless?
Yes, I believe 3 or 4 of those vegetation fires were down in the creek bed.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, well, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar as written.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been motioned and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Horn,
Aye.
Councilman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilman Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Singleton,
Aye.
Mayor Ramsey.
I also vote aye. We have ordinance presentation, discussion of potential action items. We have none. We have announcements. City Manager, do you have any announcements?
I do have one. Since we have a lot of high school students here, I wanted to bring up that we're currently accepting applications right now for our youth and government program. So Yvette, who's sitting in the front, is actually one of our participants in the youth and government program. She's been with us since July, and so she comes every day after school and does office work for me and Shannon. But we have this program. The youth and government program has 3 components. So one is a junior council program. So it's members in high school or college that live in council districts, and we have meetings and you talk about how you can make your community better, and you get paid per meeting for coming. The second part of that program is the future public servant program. So if you have an interest in being a city employee, a county employee, a state employee, a teacher, police officer, anything like that, we place you in a department that sort of matches what you're interested in, and you earn scholarship dollars. So you can work 200 hours. Oh, thank you. Larry brought it up on the screen. So you can work 200 hours and earn a $3,000 scholarship. So it equates to $15 an hour. And then there's also the Youth Opportunity Program. So that's for high school students who maybe have a barrier that may prevent them from going on to college. And we'll place you here at the city. We assign you a mentor to help you get through the process. And you also earn scholarship dollars. So those are open right now. I think the deadline is May 31st. It's a very easy application to complete. It's like 1 page. So if you're interested, I encourage you to apply and get those applications in. Yes.
Me and my brother actually applied for it, and we both got accepted, but my brother just needs to call back from the city,
Okay, so I have yours and your brother's information. I actually text back and forth with your mom. So I told her who to contact. And so if you want to reach out to Carissa, who's in our Human Resources office, she can get you both started. You're welcome.
Can you tell them how to get to our website?
Yes, so if you go to, actually Larry can show you an example on the screen. So that's the City of Coalinga website. It's coalinga.com. And then if you click on government up there at the top, and then you just go down to the youth and government and click on that, it'll take you to that page, which gives you an overview of the programs, and all the applications are there.
You know, that program looked like it took a lot of hard work to come up with that idea. So I don't know where that idea came from, but that individual put a lot of work into that. I don't know whose idea that was.
We gotta see Adam again, I guess.
Yeah, Adam had nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
He was under palm trees somewhere.
Okay, does anybody else have any announcement? Any other announcements from council? Okay, sign up for the water fight.
Real quick announcement.
Okay.
What's the game time tomorrow, ladies? 5 o'clock. In Fowler. Gates open at 4. So if you ain't at the game, tell them, girl. You got that. See, let's get it. Let's go. Let's be there and show some support here.
And this is a championship game, right? Or you got one more?
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, okay.
Yeah. Yes. That's what we want, upsets. So
No
if you
ifs.
ain't there, you ain't from Coalinga.
Yeah, there's no ifs. You guys will win this one.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, I have one. We have a hazardous waste deal coming up. It's on June 4th, I think it is. And it's at Keck Park. It starts from 8 o'clock till 12, or 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock. And it's all hazardous waste, and you can take it there, and there's a list on Facebook. And I think you can go to their site, and you can go to the county site. It's also on the county site that'll let you know. So you don't have to take it out of Coalinga and throw it in the creek bed. It's someplace that you can do it right, so.
Now,
Okay.
Is there going to be like any warning signs? Because I know it's right next to the playground. So is there going to be any, I mean, is there a way we could contact the KEC if they're going to have warnings for anybody, any kids are going to go there? I mean.
Well, it's going to be, it's not going to be just out in the open. I mean, they're going to make sure everything's taken
No,
care of.
I last year I know they did it, but they did have containers open. And
Oh, did they?
Yeah, you don't know what people are bringing or what mixture of chemicals are bringing in. I know there's kids are going to be playing right there in the playground, and they do it right there by the playground.
Okay.
So I don't know if we could get with Keck Park and maybe, extend the warning.
Yeah, we can get with Tyler and just ask him about it. Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, any future agenda items?
I got one. I know I spoke to Maurice about this, but it's still in my head, and I wanted to see if we could give former Chief Blevins the key to the city for his outstanding 25 years of service. I know he's had personal health issues, but I think that would be a pretty good thank you, and for his outstanding years in our community. I know he has touched a lot of people in this community, and he put his service here and he gave it his all. So I would like to extend the key to the city to him.
Okay. Anything else? Adam, do you have anything?
It's under the trees, man.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to talk to your buddy here.
I do have one.
We're gonna go into closed session, I'm sorry.
Is there any way we can find out, because some of us weren't here when you guys actually planned this for the street repair on Polk Street from Elm to
Monterey?
I believe Fifth Street, where the road repair was. It's like a wave, and I want to know who approved that, because I'm hearing a lot of complaints from people, and I'm pretty sure you guys have too.
We're still working with the contractor on fixing some of those issues.
Where it's all
Yep.
just one big wave?
Yeah, there's some, the city engineer is working with it. The project has not been fully completed, so they're on punch list items, but those are some issues they're working with.
The next thing is that corner of Forest and Truman, that cement sidewalk is still not repaired on the west side. When they did the road repair on Forest Street right there, from Truman all the way to Fifth, there's a spot right in the curve where they did not complete the sidewalk. It's still dirt.
We'll have to look at that and see where it's at.
Okay. We are going to go into closed session. Do we anticipate anything?
We don't anticipate a report out.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming, and thank you girls for coming. And everybody have a good weekend.